May I therefore request Mr. Milton Nyamazao, Director, Southern Africa from of the Institute for Economics and Peace, to join me on stage, together with our regional director. To the honored guests and delegates who are here, thank you very much. All protocols observed. I would like to extend to the conference the greetings from our chairperson and founder, Mr. Steve Kileli, and the entire Institute for Economics and Peace team. When I have heard throughout the conference that you have 4.5 million scouts, the only thing I've heard is that we have 4.5 million peace builders. And I think it is a wonderful thing for us to be able to collaborate and step into the future where we not just build skills, we don't just build partnerships, but we also build a partnership, the cultures for peace. And I think this is captured so wonderfully in the conference team. It says shaping connected futures. So this is something we are so excited for. And I would just like to thank my honored colleague and everyone from the Scouts Conference for making this possible. We look forward to working with you.
To really continue to fashion connected future and to create a better world. Thank you and thank you, conference.
The conference, this is the moment that we have been looking forward to. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Ahmed Wiisichong. Mr. Ahmed Wiisichong, sorry if I misspelled your surname, is Secretary General of the Pan-African Youth Union. He has been involved in student activism and youth leadership on the continent for the last 13 years. Rising to the ranks from the Education and Democratization Secretary of the National Union of Ghana Students to Programs Director to All Africa Students Union, he was the Deputy Secretary General for the Pan-African Youth Union between 2017 to 2021. With extensive knowledge and deep understanding of the organization, he has a wide-reaching network across Africa and the world, making him one of the most recognizable youth leaders in Africa. Ahmed has been actively engaging with several youth working platforms, including the Commonwealth's Youth Council, the World Federation of Democratic Youth, International Coordinating Meeting of Youth Organizations, United Nations ECOSOC, International Volunteer Forum, among others. served of the International Task Team of the Commonwealth Youth Forum in London 2018. The Secretary General has extensive experience and reputation in youth engagement across the continent. He has a solid track record of representing and facilitating on the major stages that really youth across the world, with a track record of visiting over 82 countries across the globe. His diplomatic and networking capabilities are phenomenal and has touched base with almost every country on the continent, building relationships with governments, policymakers, development partners, youth leaders, and civil society. His rich experience and exposure within the multilateral space, coupled with the democratic strength of the Republic of Ghana, is reshaping and revitalizing Pan-African Youth Union to safeguard the interests of African youth on the continent and beyond. I now welcome Mr. Benning to give us the keynote address.
Thank you so much. That was quite a long profile, and I hope that I'm able to live up to the bio that has been read. Chairman of World Scout Committee, Andy Chapman. Secretary General of World Scout Bureau, my brother Ahmed. Chairman of Africa Scouts Committee, Victor Atipaga. Regional Director of Africa Scout Bureau, Fred Kamakama. Heads of National Scout Organizations, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gallant friends from the Global and African Scout Fraternity, Jambo Habari. It gives me great joy and pleasure to be invited to participate in this 18th Scouts Conference and to address some of the most exceptional change makers the world is experiencing today, under the theme Shaping Our Connected Futures. On behalf of the Executive Committee of the Pan-African Youth Union, I extend our warmest congratulations to the Scout Committee for their continued commitment to building synergies and social cohesion across the continent. Let me also congratulate the organizing committee, the Africa Scout Support Center in Nairobi, for pulling together an outstanding 18th determination and commitment is great and inspirational to surmount all challenges. I believe each of you have been warmly welcomed to Kenya with some hot ugali, nyamachoma, and kachumbari. And if you have not tasted it yet, I believe from here the Scout Committee should lead you to the nearest joint. Fellow change makers, I have had an opportunity to experience the work of Scouts in my early life in secondary school, and I can confess that Scout is indeed a global social change maker. I draw great inspiration from our forebears who built great solidarity and camaraderie to strive for the political liberation of our continent. Our role as a generation is to continue the struggle, this time for economic emancipation, break the shackles of neocolonialism, deconstruct imperialist systems, and joining forces to create a just, equal, and fair society where every life matters. Permit me to quote from one of Africa's greatest yet, Haile Selassie, and I quote, "We must become bigger than we have been, more courageous, greater in spirit, larger in outlook. We must become members of a new race, overcoming petty prejudice, owing our ultimate allegiance not to nations, but to our fellow men within the human community." End of quote. The new race that Emperor Haile Selassie refers to is a challenge to us all in this room, a challenge to stand against injustice, inequality, poverty, hunger, marginalization, and climate emergencies. As social change makers, we must dedicate our ultimate allegiance to humanity, to the protection of liberties, freedoms, and the fundamental human rights of all citizens. The recognition of our intrinsic interconnectivity as human beings must shape our dedication to build a fairer, inclusive, egalitarian society where the quality of life, irrespective of race, religion, sex, geography, is guaranteed and human dignity protected. We must adopt approaches that guarantee the participation of young people, both boys and girls, in development processes, advocate resilience and efficient adaptability mechanisms to build values that harness connections between people, irrespective of spatial and other considerations. Another important reflection we must continually be reminded of is sustainable development as a multi-sectorial and cross-cutting paradigm towards social change. And I believe this Scout must continue to exhibit in the work that you do. We must develop and commit to deep understanding of progressive advocacy mechanisms, adopting evidence-based and right-based approaches and methodologies to influence social change and the change that we really want to see. Our quest to shape our connected futures as young people can be better harnessed through the effective application of technology and innovation, the constructive use of social media, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, WeChat, Snapchat, YouTube, and other social media networking platforms. Young people must learn to adopt effective application of Internet of Things. And I believe that all of us in this room are internet savvy, but we must begin to apply the constructive use of internet in our quest to change our world. We need to adopt the use of disruptive technologies, which COVID has taught us to do. The usage of big data and artificial intelligence as tools to scale up our efforts for social change. Permit me to touch on the strategic priorities of Scouts, which emphasizes youth engagement, educational methods, diversity and inclusion, social impact, communication and external relations, and good governance. These strategic priorities are only achievable if we work in unison from an intergenerational perspective. We need the solidarity of all ages to achieve tangible and sustainable social change outcomes. And I believe that Scout is a reflection of that, because Scout is a reflection of the intergenerational dimension that we require to build our connected futures. Scouting in Africa must work hand in hand with other youth development partners to confront the challenges of youth unemployment, peace and security, climate emergencies, and contribute meaningfully to consolidating democracy and good governance in Africa. We must move outside our comfort zone to activate our civic responsibility and play a key role to building resilient and sustainable communities that are futuristic. Scouts can no longer be passive in matters of corruption and accountability. Every young person must recognize that the democratization of education, be it access or quality,